thought I'd do a quick catch up on what's going on with the brakes. And you most likely can hear a lawnmower in the background, so clearly I'm not totally in the bush. So, long story short, the brake pads I ordered from the UK, they went from the shop to a post office to a mail centre. And they've had at least 14 days at the mail centre, and it doesn't appear like they're moving anywhere in a hurry. As England has got major problems with COVID, etc., some old guy in Australia waiting for brake pads is of no significance. So we just kick along and wait and see what happens. So day 10 of waiting for those to move, I thought I'd better look at other options, and I searched compatibility data on Shimano pads and calipers, and it came up with a PDF that I downloaded, and then I worked through that one line at a time. I found 4 possible brake pads that would fit into this caliper. I then searched for those in Australia, and I found one set of one type, and I immediately bought it. Well, actually it wasn't as immediate as I'd like, because the website wouldn't let me buy them unless I turned cookies on in my browser, which was a pain in the rear end for me. I just don't like having cookies. Anyway, so I turned that on, ordered it, and to their credit, the next morning it was in the mail. They arrived here this morning. I've put them in, and let's go down and have a quick look, he said. So, no cooling fins. They do fit in. There's certainly a firm fit. And, oh, hang on, I'll show you this for the dramatic effect. So this is the rear brake, and they're about half worn. They've got about 2 millimeters left on the pads, I checked. So that's how much movement I have here. This is the front pad, and that's how much movement I have on that. So the pads, when they started, were in contact with the rotor. So I've been riding them a little bit, and I've only done 12 kilometers, but already it's starting to free up. And I can pick the bike up and spin the front wheel, and it'll keep spinning for quite a while, so it's not really an issue. So back down here, so the pads just sit in there nice and neat. Came with its new spring. This is the old screw because it didn't come with one of those. As you can see, I've got the clip on the other side, so that screws in, and that's your safety in case it comes loose, so it doesn't come out altogether and you lose your brakes. And I even did what they suggest on YouTube, and that is to wear gloves when you're handling this, because they don't want fingerprints and sweat going over the spring and onto the contact points with the pads. So we've covered that. Talk about the new rotor. As usual, I stuffed that up when I ordered the 2 of them. I didn't realise that when you order them you can get 3 different types of locking ring. So let's see if you can see that. Right, so this is your locking ring here. This is the original. Oh no, I'm out of focus. This is the original. It came off quite easily. It's in good nick, so I put it back on. Oh, horrible focus. So I put that back on. The advantage of this one is it has teeth on the internal ring, and it's the same tool you use for your cassette. The locking rings that came with it have teeth on the outside for you to do. I could have bodged it and got it tight if I had to, but I'm happier just to use this with a proper tool. So if you are ordering new rotors for any reason, make sure you order the right locking ring for yourself. Now, what else can I say apart from the fact that it was over 2 weeks ago I had my last ride before I blew the pad. I charged the bike that day, only turned it on today for this ride, and I was surprised to see that the e-bike battery was still 100%. I thought over the couple of weeks it may have dropped a percent or two, but it held its charge without any problem whatsoever, so that was impressive. Anyway folks, As you can see, it's shaping up. And talking of shaping up, the last couple of weeks I've been doing a lot of walking, pretty much burning out 1,000 calories a day walking, and it actually turned out to be a blessing not to be on the bike, because in the last week or so the areas I ride, some of them got up to 600 plus millimetres of rain in a day. So most of the little creeks would have been big creeks, and I pretty much wouldn't have been able to go anywhere. Every water crossing would have been too deep for the motor. So that worked out as a blessing for me, even though the people downstream did suffer quite a substantial flooding. Anyway folks, I'll get back to you when I get to actually go for a proper ride. Catch ya.